Hi, I'm Avery or Hazel or Kylie. You can just pick one, I don't care which.
Hello, I am Lily.
And Daddy, I want a golden goose now!
I want it now.
Hello and welcome to From the Closet. Today we are covering Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. This is the old movie. We might do the remake later. We will do the remake later, but it's a question of when. This was a
Mhm.
request from. You never actually told me who it was from.
Oh, one of my friends, Jamie.
Cool. So yeah, this episode should be releasing August 15th, and that is on a Monday. I'm going to spin the wheel now to let you know what movie we will be covering tomorrow. And the movie is Shrek.
What a interesting movie.
Yeah. I mean, some would say it's love, and some would say it's life.
I would say it's neither, but let's talk about chocolate now.
Yeah. This is okay. Well, before we talk about chocolate, I got the
Hmm.
we gotta get through our like little formalities and shit. So if you are listening to this on YouTube, you will find a link below for you to be able to rent or purchase this movie. You can also view it on HBO Max. Um, and this podcast will contain spoilers for Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. All right, spoilers beginning in 3, 2, 1. The grandpa suddenly is able to walk again for some reason.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. See, okay, as someone who doesn't like chocolate, this movie is still pretty entertaining to watch.
Oh, I forgot about that. And despite being a chocolate factory, it's not all chocolate either.
Yeah. Um, and I think, okay, so one thing that I noticed going into this movie is that a lot of shit in the first half is already unbelievable, but then when you get to the second half, you've already embraced that, you can't really, like, you've already embraced that nothing in this movie is believable. So when they start throwing weird shit at you in the second half of the movie, you're just like, yep, I accept this now.
Yeah.
And I
So
mean,
I actually want to mention how old this movie is. God, this movie is old. 1971.
yeah. Uh, I know a certain viewer of this podcast who will be pleased we're covering another old movie because he briefly brought up to me like how he wished we would cover more old movies. And I'm like, dude, a fifth of our podcast episodes have been on movies that released before the year 2000. So,
That's true. Though, I have watched this movie, like, quite a lot of times. This is definitely a classic.
yeah. Um, so I do have a confession to make. If I've
Have
seen
you?
this movie, it was when I was very young and I don't remember seeing it. This is probably the first time I've sat down and like made the choice to watch this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, this is really backwards. Usually it's you who has seen a movie, and it's me for the first time watching it.
Well, I mean, we've had this before, like where How to Train Your Dragon 2 was an example where you'd seen the movie
Oh, that's true.
and I
Yeah.
hadn't. Um and then like Lady and the Tramp was sort of like that where you'd seen the movie a lot more than I had, but I had at least seen it
Mhm.
before. I'm trying to think if there was another case, but no, it's usually either I've seen it and you haven't, or neither one of us have seen it.
Have you have, or we both seen it?
Oh yeah. There's been quite a few of those too. But yeah, but there were times like Turning Red where it was like, that movie had just came out and neither one of us had really had the opportunity to see it.
Because it just came out. Yeah.
Yeah, and even though Lightyear just dropped on Disney Plus, we are not going to be doing we're not going to be doing that movie until we've
Hmm.
done the other three Toy Story movies that we haven't covered.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and like at the time of recording this, it actually isn't out on Disney Plus yet. But by the time the episode comes out,
It
it
will
will
be.
be out
Yeah, it
on
makes
Disney.
sense.
Yeah, because I looked into it and I found out the release date for Disney Plus is what I'm saying. And
Uh, I'll be honest, like, when I heard that, I was like, what are you talking? Why haven't I heard about this?
yeah. um, but yeah, and then like tomorrow we're going to be recording Star versus the Forces of Evil season 1, which should come out later this month.
So, I guess we should start diving into this movie, and I think there's only one way to start and how it's aged. I mean, you can definitely see the special effects of, okay, that elevator, you can totally see that's like a prop as it's, floating through the sky. That looks like a little toy, little kid's prop. But at the time, that's like innovation.
Is it though, or is it just pretty much the standard at the time?
I, okay, fair enough. Either still, it's not, laziness.
Yeah, it's like
Like, at the time, it would be, right now, if you were to do that, it's like, little sus there. But like, back then, this was like one of the great movies.
yeah, I'd argue it's still a great movie with a soundtrack that's pretty decent. Nothing that I'd put on my Spotify playlist, but
I'd put some of the Oompa Loompa songs.
see, the thing is that Oompa Loompa Doopity Doo, that has that bit has gone through my head a number of times.
uh,
Like even before I watched this movie, I knew that specific line. So there's that. For some reason, I kept thinking that this movie was where the "one does not simply" meme came from, and I guess it's not.
I I do not believe so. No.
I feel like I frequently see it with like I see memes with that with the actor who played Willy Wonka in this movie. But I mean, I
Hmm.
guess not. I don't know.
Also, I want to say how much I love the actor of Willy Wonka in this movie,
I mean, he definitely sells the
and
role.
I forgot. I think it's Johnny Depp who did the remake, but I can't be sure.
I did see that when I
I
was researching the remake that it was Johnny Depp.
Yeah, I definitely prefer the original Willy Wonka, especially how he sells the role so well. You can see every frame, like no, no matter what crazy thing is happening, he just has the most normal expression on his face.
Yeah, it's like it's oddly comical in a way. Here's another thing I do want to bring up, and
Hmm.
it's the whole thing where yeah, it's the whole contest in general. If some candy company were to do that today, a lot of people would be calling it out for basically just being a ploy to drive up sales.
I mean, they did call it out in the movie, but they called him as a freaking genius.
Yeah, and it's like, not entirely an original concept.
Do tell.
I mean, plenty of people create contests. Like, plenty of
Oh,
businesses
I
create
mean, like,
contests to
in
drive up
movies.
sales. No, I'm talking about the idea of a contest to drive up sales. That's
Oh,
not
yeah.
entirely original. But also, like,
Oh, no.
I don't know. This movie is not really that original because it's based on a Roald Dahl story, not Roald Dahl.
Roll the doll. So, are you telling it's like a book to movie adaptation or what?
I mean, I don't know if it would be fair to call it a book because it's Roald Dahl,
Hmm.
so it's like a really, really old story. But yeah, it is an
So, like,
adaptation.
folklore sort of thing.
I don't know if it would
Or,
be folklore. More like, I guess, literature, I guess. But yeah, it's like really old.
hmm,
Um,
okay.
but yeah, and another thing too, that math teacher who was teaching percentages, like, bro, you really can't figure out what percent 2 out of 1,000 is. It's 0.2%. That's not hard.
But I love how they, in every moment of the first half, it just gets even more ridiculous on how much everyone wants the golden ticket.
Yeah. And I think there's like even a
This
Matt
per
Pat video talking about how much a golden ticket would actually be worth.
There's also another MatPat video on the safety violations of Willy Wonka's facilities.
I can only imagine. I wonder if there's a legal eagle video on this movie.
I believe so. There's two.
Dude, I'm gonna have to go and watch that later because, oh man, Willy Wonka violating hella laws. Like, all the
He,
laws. Every single one of them.
so this one person is getting kidnapped, and the demands are for a bunch of chocolate.
Yeah.
The wife is like, "Give me a moment to think about this."
I laughed out loud at that. I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was at that point that I knew that this movie was just going to be utterly ridiculous from that point onward.
I mean, I like how the movie sells the point that everyone wants this chocolate. Everyone wants to go inside his facility. Everyone wants to know.
Yeah. And then you have, that whole weird scenario where um, Willy Wonka sent a guy to basically test Charlie. And I have to question, did he send that guy to every other kid who got a golden ticket?
Yes, you actually saw them in the movie, and every time you looked at one of the kids getting their tickets, the the moment cut with that person whispering in their ears. You never knew what they said, but you saw them whispering.
I don't recall seeing them. But then again, I was also
Yeah.
shiny hunting Trico for the first half of this movie. Um, so I wasn't paying that much attention.
Yeah, he was actually more foreshadowed in the other contestants' winnings than actually Charlie himself.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What else? Do you have anything else you want to say? Because I got to think some more.
Oh, let's see how those kids, those other four kids, are at least one of them is dead. I reckon it's the person that went into the furnace.
I mean, that furnace was probably off. And plus, Willy Wonka at the end said that, the other kids were fine.
He's also crazy.
Fair point. But I don't know. I just kind of doubt it. But at the same time, some of these kids are just like super fucking annoying. I'm talking like on the same level as the know-it-all kid in the Polar Express. That level of annoying.
Oh, yeah.
And like the thing is with the Polar Express, I'm not entirely sure that it was intentional for him to be that annoying. But at least with this movie, it was very much intentional for the kids to be that annoying.
To not. So you don't feel too sympathetic when their untimely misfortune happens.
Yeah.
So the fat one got just dumped in some chocolate, got sucked up a tube, and going to God knows where. Oh, wait, what was the second death?
Was it the one
Was
who
it?
swelled up and turned blue?
I think it was, yeah, turned it and went to go to the squeezer.
Yeah, and then the third. Fuck.
Must have been the gum, right? Yeah.
Huh.
Wait, no. The gum was. Okay. No. The third was the golden goose, and the fourth had to been the TV.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. I didn't recall the the gum being a cause of one of the kids getting like eliminated or whatever.
Yeah, because the gum was the thing that made it into her into a blueberry.
No, okay. I was thinking when I said that I was thinking about that thing where it was like
Were you thinking about the gobstopper?
no, I was thinking about like the uh the thing that was supposed to be like exploding.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
like exploding it's something to use against your enemies or whatever.
Yeah. Remember when I called Wonka crazy? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. So there's potentially 4 at maximum 5 deaths. I almost forgot about. If the furnace was on, you get a double kill.
Double kill.
And Willy Wonka did the smartest thing he could. He passed on to the factory to someone else to deal with the problem.
Yeah. He passed it on to a little kid, which I don't think that can work. I also don't think having minors sign a contract can be legally binding. So there is that.
Well, I guess there's also a thing that Willy Wonka is still alive. So that means he can teach the pupil about chocolate making before eventually passing.
Yeah.
So I actually was doing research for this movie at school. It was a school project. And I can't remember where I heard this, but apparently you remember the tunnel ride? The boat ride in the tunnel?
Yeah.
Apparently, obviously, all those filmed with the deranged Willy Wonka. While the actors had their scripts, they didn't actually know what was going to happen. Their reactions were genuine.
That's kind of nuts.
That's just what I heard. That's just what I heard, though.
See, I have a lot of questions about that because they said a lot of very specific lines that, worked within
Hmm.
the context of the movie.
Some, and it could just be that part. I actually want to look that up.
But yeah, I think, oh, what more to say about this movie? I think a lot of the child actors, they probably had fun getting to play such absolute brats. But then again, I don't know. I hear a lot of child actors are terrible to work with. So maybe some of them were just acting like themselves. Who knows? All right.
Yeah.
It and let's see. The guy who plays the grandfather, um, I don't know why, but he sort of looks like the guy who played Doc Brown, but not enough that I think that they're the same person.
Hmm. Wait, is that the actor for? Wait, who acted for Willy Wonka? I'm just looking somebody up.
Yeah, in the middle of our podcast. So
I mean, it's relevant.
yeah, but it's also slow. Try and let's see.
Okay. Here's a statement. Um, I want to say Genie wasn't a method actor and did take direction, but he was always creating his own thing. We never quite knew what we were going to get from him, particularly the boat scene in the film. When he went slightly loopy, whether that was improvisation or not, I'll never know, but we certainly didn't see it coming. So I guess the actor just went rogue all the time.
Yeah, like I can't imagine being one of the adults in that boat ride, because that's just you're sitting there the entire time thinking that this guy is just completely off of his rocker.
And let's be honest, he really was.
Yeah, he definitely really was.
He added so much to that role. It's insane.
Yeah, I think I want to compare it to characters like Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin and Joaquin Phoenix's
Hmm.
Joker. You know, they add so much to the character that it's hard to picture them as anyone else, except for Heath Ledger as Joker. But those are two very different Jokers that are both great for very, very different reasons.
Yeah. See, Willy Wonka has a insane yet lovable personality. Like, I don't know, you feel his pain, but you can also see, like, did the child really deserve that?
Oh my god, stupid headphone cord. So yeah, your audio's good. Lily's audio is going to be doubled up in some parts, and I'm gonna try
Yay!
to remember to edit this out, but who knows if I will remember? Because my headphone cord decided to be annoying and not,
Yay!
yeah, and not actually, fucking work.
I've had sometimes where that happened, though never got caught on the Audacity.
Yeah, and I guess that reveals that we use Audacity to record. So
Oh no!
I mean, it is an audio editing software and not necessarily built specifically for recording, but you can definitely record with it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I definitely like it how there's all of these podcast tools where they all just use one person recording. I don't know. I like it how we both have our own recording and it's just paired up.
Yeah, which does take some work, especially when like the past couple of times where we've landed on the request slot, having to edit in the having to edit in what the next movie is kind of a pain.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I basically have to create a third track and record the name of the movie fast enough so that the extra audio doesn't double over into the recording.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's really annoying. Almost like certain characters in this movie.
Very, very annoying.
And
Also, there's a lot of big tropes in this movie. You have the person that overeats, the person stares at the TV too much. Then again, there's just gum. Person that just chews gum.
okay, so
Uh,
the whole thing of person that stares at that watches too much TV, I don't know, that just kind of feels like something mostly boomers find negative.
hmm.
But I mean, this movie was made in 1971, so it sort of appealed to people's thoughts at the time. But then also at the same time, I do appreciate that this movie calls out, um, like, it calls out the parents of bratty children and,
Oh yeah.
points attention to the fact that, hey, it's not really the child's fault, it's the parents' fault. Which
And then
which just
have
is true.
Charlie. Which I find how Charlie is without sin. Now, like, okay, you have a lot of these protagonists, right? They're supposed to be kids. They're supposed to be do all, good all, the shining light of the world. And Charlie's not that. And I kind of like that. Because he does deal the fuzzy lifting drink.
Yeah.
He just,
And almost dies because of it.
yeah, we almost had a fifth Oompa Loompa song playing.
Dear Lord. I don't know if I could have handled a fifth one. Four was already stretching it. Because all those songs sound the same.
That is true.
And also I feel like, we had some music at the very beginning. And then I think the movie sort of forgot that it was a musical until the second half.
Yeah, basically. You also have the music at the beginning, not the beginning, the end with was it Imagination?
Yeah. And then
I looked up the entire soundtrack and I forgot.
and then also too, I want to mention shortest fucking credits in any movie I have ever seen. Jesus.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that point too.
It's
Yeah,
certainly
those are some.
it's certainly no Avengers Endgame with fucking 30 minutes of credits.
That couldn't have been more than 5 minutes of credits.
I don't even think it reached 2 minutes.
I mean, I think most of the credits were played at the beginning, but behind that and that, you might have just reached 5 minutes. That. It's insane how good of a movie this produced and how little people actually worked on it.
Yeah. So, I think if you don't have anything else you want to say, I will go ahead and get into what the critics rated this movie.
I
And
don't know. Why does it feel like we're missing on something?
I don't know.
Guess I'm just delusional then.
Yeah, you are.
There's something. We haven't. I mean, it's a meaningless theme, but like, that candy man was just throwing candy at these children, presumably for free, at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
The song where he's talking about Willy Wonka and how great he is.
Oh, and you know what's another thing? If those kids did die, technically Willy Wonka could get off by saying he did provide them with a lifetime supply of chocolate, because a lethal dose is also a lifetime supply.
Okay, that only is true for one death. Is he was surrounded by chocolate.
No, it's true for multiple. The girl who kind of swelled up with juice, she had a lethal dose.
That's true, but it wasn't chocolate.
Yeah, but either way, also I just want to mention this movie is not even an hour and 40 minutes long, so it's kind of short.
Oh yeah, really short.
But yeah, so
This,
go ahead.
I guess I should say, this is probably one of the better movies that we have covered. What do you think about it? I guess we can get into more time about rating.
Yeah, well, let's get into what the critics rated it first. So IMDb gave this movie a 7.8 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it 91%. Just Watch gives it 84%, and 84% of Google users liked the movie. All right.
I guess it's on me then
Yes.
to deliver my first rating. This movie, one of the not greatest, but greater old movies that I can think of on the top of my head. So, 8.9.
See, I don't know. For me, there are a lot of older movies. In particular, let's just discussing live action older movies, because if we tackled animated, there's probably a lot that beats it. But I think for live action, it's definitely up there. But I don't think it beats any of the Back to the Futures, for example. At least for me.
Really?
At least for me.
I think it can beat Back to the Futures. It kind of embodies a sort of joy of being a kid, look at all this candy and chocolate, wouldn't you want to be in a room full of it? A room full of everything you can eat.
I don't know. To me,
stuff like that.
I don't know, that the idea of being in a room full of chocolate is not very appealing to me.
Then think about a room full of flavor things. I don't know.
Nah.
Candy, sweet.
I think if any movie perfectly captures what it feels like to be a kid, I think it's My Neighbor Totoro. In my opinion.
I can agree with that, though. There is a lack of reality in that one too.
Yeah. So yeah, I think given everything, I'm giving this movie an 8.0. Definitely we should cover Charlie and the Chocolate Factory at some point. This was kind of a weird like exception to our request rules that we're
Yeah,
probably
I
not
was
gonna
actually wondering,
we're
um,
probably not going to allow this sort of loophole again.
because when my friend said this, I was like, yeah, probably not, but I will check. I was wondering why you allowed this sort of uh, exception.
Mostly just because I wanted to watch it.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I mean, pretty much. So yeah, I think that's pretty much.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we've got for now. So until next time, I've been Avery. That's been Lily, and adieu, adieu. Parting is such sweet sorrow.
No, stop. Come back.